What's going on, y'all? Today is the day where I finally answer the most asked questions about my VR swap. I get these questions literally every day about my VR swap, and I'm going to answer them to the best of my abilities. Some of these answers to your questions is in videos, but I don't think some people watch all the videos all the way through. But that's why I'm gonna make this video, so you guys can get answers to all you guys' questions about the VR swap. So the first question that is asked the most: how much did it cost to do the swap? I spent $1,243 for the labor to put the transmission in, and I spent $1,000 for the transmission. So I spent $1,243 for the labor to install it, and I spent like $1,000 for the transmission. The second question is, where did you get your transmission from? I got my transmission from Sac City Auto Parts in Sacramento. That's where I got mine from. Luckily they had like one with 400 miles, and I picked it up. And you know, you can order online. I think even if you're out of state, you don't live in California, you could order online, you can call them, they'll ship it, whatever. So that's where I got my transmission from. I got it from Sac City Auto Parts in Sacramento. The third most asked question was, did you install it yourself? No, I didn't install it myself. Full Throttle Performance did in Sacramento, and you can ship your car to them and they'll do it. If you live out of state, you can get quoted by my boy Charlie and just tell him that, you know, you came from me, and maybe he'll work something out with you. So yeah, I didn't do it myself. Full Throttle Performance did in Sacramento. The fourth most asked question is, do I need to buy a torque converter for the VR transmission? No. When you buy the transmission, it should come with a torque converter. Mine's came with a torque converter, so you don't need to buy a torque converter when you buy the transmission. Usually it comes with it. So if you buy it from Sac City Auto Parts, it should come with the torque converter, so you do not need to buy it separately. The fifth most asked question is, did you have to reprogram your TCM since I have the VR TCM? Did I have to reprogram it to work on the VQ? No, I did not have to reprogram it. Luckily, once they put it in, it just worked, and it's been working ever since. I had no problem since they installed it, and everything has been pretty good. The sixth most asked question is it worth doing the VR swap? Yes, it's worth doing the VR swap because the transmission is way more reliable. The VR TCM is way more reliable, and you get better shifts, especially if you're trying to add turbos or you're trying to add a supercharger. The VR transmission will be your best friend because it can handle more power. The VQs can only handle a certain amount of power. So if you're planning on going the turbo route or the supercharger route, you definitely want to go ahead and get a VR. But yes, the VR is definitely worth it. I've been happy with mine ever since I installed it, and it's been working pretty good, and I actually have no complaints. It's been really good for me. The seventh most asked question is, the only mod you did was the bell housing? Yes, I didn't need to change the drive shaft at all. It all worked out fine. Now, I don't need to, well, I didn't install it myself, so I'm just repeating everything that my mechanic told me. But I'm actually going to be planning a video where I go out to SAC and he's going to give you in-depth like answers to your questions. I'm going to answer it all genetic because I didn't work on the car, but the only thing he said that he needed to do was modify the bell housing. The drive shaft worked out just fine, just because in my eyes, the reason why I think the drive shaft worked and why you have to modify the G37's drive shaft is because the VRs is actually made for the Q50. You know, I have an older Q50, but it's pretty much like the same like kind of chassis a little bit. So I think that's the reason why, you know, it worked out, and the reason why I didn't have to mod my drive shaft, and the reason why you have to do that if you have a G37. So it works out if you have a Q50, it don't if you have a G37. The eighth most asked question is, did you get your transmission tuned? No, I didn't get my transmission tuned. That program is not out yet. EcuTech is actually dropping something to where you can finally mod your transmission. Well, you can finally tune your transmission. And yeah, that program's not out yet. I'm definitely interested in it as soon as it come out. because I think that's going to be a game changer, especially for these transmissions. It's going to be a game changer, and it's going to be moving and shifting a lot smoother than it does already. So I really can't wait for that. But no, I did not tune my transmission when I tuned this car. The 9th most asked question is, did you upgrade the flex plate? No, I didn't upgrade the flex plate. Everything is all the same. I don't know if that's just for manual cars or it's for automatic. I'm not too sure, but no, I get this question a lot. I did not upgrade the flex plate. The only thing I upgraded was the transmission. That was it. And you know, the torque converter that comes inside the transmission, I did not do anything else. So everything else is stock. So no, I did not upgrade the flex plate. The 10th most asked question that I get about the VR swap is, can you put a VR transmission in a G37? Yes, you can put a VR transmission in a G37, but it'll be different. It'll be a different process than mine. So I can't really speak on the G37. I can only speak on mine and what worked for me. I think it's the same. Like, you know, they'll have to modify the bell housing, and I think, well, I know you will probably have to modify your drive shaft for sure, because the chassis in the G37 and Q50 is a little different. So I'm pretty sure you'll have to modify your drive shaft. But yes, you can put a VR in a G37. It's a lot of videos out there saying that people done it. So the 11th most asked question I get about my VR swap is, did you use your VQ TCM? No, I did not use my VQ TCM. I actually went to buy a new VQ TCM, but I returned it as soon as I found out that the VR TCM worked and I didn't need it no more. So I've been rocking with the VR TCM and it's been working out pretty fine for me. So no, I did not switch my VQ TCM inside the VR. The 12th most asked question I get is, can you use the VR TCM in the G37? I'm pretty sure you can, but I'm not sure. I don't want to say yes you can and then you can't do it, but I'm pretty sure you can. And that's something that I'll ask Charlie when I go see him at Full Throttle Performance about giving like an in-depth, like, you know, answers to you guys' questions. I'll ask him about that, but I'm pretty sure you can. But I'm not too sure about it, so I don't want to, you know, say yes and then you guys do it and then it don't work. So, but I'm pretty sure you can though. The last question I get about the VR swap is, why does it shift early? I explained this multiple times, why it shifts early. So let me go ahead and get in the car so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So let me turn on the car so I can light up the emblem so I can like show you guys. So in the VRs, the red line is at 6,500 RPMs, right? And the VQs is at 7,500 RPMs, right? So I have a VR TCM, so it's thinking that, you know, this is in a VR, of course, so it's going to shift at 6,500 and not at 7,500. So the one thing about it, if you get a VR TCM and you're driving in regular drive and you kind of like, you know, want to go off a little bit, it is going to shift early at 6,500. But you can go ahead and slap it in manual mode, and after the second gear, I don't know why it does it, but it always shifts out of first gear for me. But after the second gear, you can go all the way to 8,000, whatever you want to shift it at, pretty much. So that's the only thing about the VR TCM, is that it will shift early because of course it's thinking that it is a VR. That's all the most asked questions that I get about my VR swap. I kind of just wanted to make a video just to dedicate that, you know, to you guys, because a lot of these questions you guys asked, I answered it in all of my VR series, but I don't think a lot of you guys watched the full video, which is okay, you know, it is what it is. But that's why I wanted to make this video, so you guys can get the answers to all you guys' questions. I get DMs and comments about the VR stuff every single day. So now you could just watch this video and your question should be answered. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
They was praying that I fall off. Stood 10 toes, never fall, young, finna ball off. And it's still west side Pasadena, never finna fall off.